Hello, I'm Nakia Basharuddin and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. Malaysia suspends visas for Chinese nationals from Wuhan and Hubei province. And Wuhan virus death toll spikes to over 80, with more than 2,700 cases confirmed. Welcome. Malaysia has temporarily suspended the issuance of visas to Chinese citizens from the city of Wuhan and Hubei province and its surrounding areas over concerns of the spread of the novel coronavirus. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office said the suspension includes visa-free entry, visa on arrival, electronic visa and manual visas. The Prime Minister's office announced the decision, which takes effect immediately, taking note of the recent developments in China on the coronavirus outbreak, which has affected thousands. It said the facility will be restored when the situation normalizes. According to the statement, the implementation of the visa suspension would be coordinated by the Foreign Affairs Ministry and the Chinese government. It said Malaysia was strictly following procedures set by the World Health Organization, WHO, and has adhered to advice from experts in facing the threat of the coronavirus and preventing its spread. Meanwhile, the Malaysian Embassy in Beijing has set up an emergency response team, ERT, to monitor and provide reports on the latest development of the 2019 novel coronavirus outbreak in China. In a posting uploaded on his official Facebook on Monday, Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said the ERT would also be responsible in communicating with Malaysians registered with the embassy or consulate general offices in China to keep tabs on their health and well-being. Datuk Saifuddin said all Malaysian embassy officials and staff in China would continue to provide necessary assistance to Malaysians in the Republic until the coronavirus infection was fully contained. He added the Malaysian government would like to extend its gratitude to the Malaysian embassy and consulate general offices in China for their efforts and commitments that have been shown in addressing and helping Malaysians cope with the coronavirus infection. Apart from the embassy in Beijing, Malaysia has consulate general offices in Guangzhou, Hong Kong, Kunming, Nanning, Shanghai and Xi'an. And at a media conference on Monday, the Health Ministry took to task those seeking to tarnish the ministry and related agencies through fake news. Its minister, Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, said a list of all the fake news will be made public soonest. At the media conference, the health minister said that the more critical problem is the spread of fake news in relation to the coronavirus. He then showed pages of fake information which made its rounds in the social media.
All countries except Malaysia, katanya kita adalah hanya negara yang tidak mengharamkan, istilahnya mengharam, ban menutup pintu masuk warga turis ataupun pelawat daripada negara China. All countries except Malaysia. Ini tidak benar sama sekali. Kita telah membuat penyelidikan dan telah mendapat maklumat yang selanjutnya. Tidak ada negara yang mengamalkan ini.
Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli also noted that his ministry will not withhold any information on the latest developments of the coronavirus infection in the country.
Nothing. We have been overboard. We have been, transparent. Everything is above board, and that kita mahukan rakyat bersama kita untuk memahami dan bersama untuk menangani wabak kluster ini di Malaysia ini.
The minister also urged the public to get the updates from verified channels. At the media conference, the health minister, in his update of the coronavirus infection in the country, said 5 patients currently under investigation are all Chinese nationals. 2 of them, children, are now being observed at the Langkawi Hospital, 2 at the Kuala Lumpur Hospital, and 1 at the Bintulu Hospital. As for tourist arrivals from China to Malaysia before January 23rd, the Health Ministry, according to Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli, will work with the Immigration Department to get the information.
Pelawat daripada Wuhan, saya ingin jelaskan, tidak perlu disekat ataupun dihalang kerana memang mereka itu pada 23 lagi China mengisytiharkan satu lockdown kepada provinsi Wuhan itu sendiri. Jadi memang kita tidak ada pelawat daripada Wuhan sejak 23 Januari yang lalu. Ya.
The health minister spoke to the media after making a working visit to the Kuala Lumpur International Airport and Kuala Lumpur International Airport 2, KLIA2, on Monday. As of Sunday, 164,692 travellers arrived at Malaysia's international entry points. And for a more effective screening exercise, 12 additional thermal scanners will be purchased and installed at entry points nationwide. Reports on claims of the 2019 novel coronavirus cases reported in Melaka, Terengganu, Negeri Sembilan, Pahang and Pulau Pinang, which had gone viral on social media, were not true. In Melaka, State Health and Anti-Drug Committee Chairman Loh Chi Leong said although there was initially a case of suspected coronavirus case involving a 7-year-old boy of Chinese nationality, but tests conducted by the Kuala Lumpur Hospital found him negative with the virus 3 days ago. In Terengganu, State Health Director Dr. Nur Azimi Yunus denied a posting on Gabungan Anak Terengganu Facebook page by one Ali Dapise that 5 people were admitted to Sultanah Nur Zahira for coronavirus upon their return from Wuhan in China. Also viral was a claim of a man having been admitted to the hospital for suspected coronavirus after returning from an Umrah pilgrimage in Mecca. In Seremban, the Negeri Sembilan Health Deputy Director, Dr. Muhammad Faid Rashid, denied a report on a suspected coronavirus patient being admitted to the Tuanku Jaafar Hospital yesterday as being viral on the WhatsApp application. In Kuantan, Pahang Health Director Datuk Dr. Bahari Muda Awangah said the department had not received any report on patients being admitted or treated for suspected coronavirus, including from private hospitals in the state. He was referring to a tweet claiming that the first coronavirus case in Pahang was being treated at a private hospital in the state. And finally, in Pulau Pinang, State Agriculture, Agro-Based Industries, Rural Development and Health Committee Chairman Dr. Afif Bahardin said a viral WhatsApp message that 2 individuals had been warded at the Seberang Jaya Hospital on suspicion of contracting the virus was also untrue. He urged the public not to spread unverified information capable of creating panic and worry. In the meantime, 4 individuals are being probed by the police and the Multimedia and Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, for spreading rumours on unverified news on the spread of the novel coronavirus in Malaysia. In a joint statement, both the authorities said such activities have been viewed seriously and will not be tolerated. Action can be taken under the Penal Code, which provides a jail term of up to 2 years or a fine or both upon conviction. Prosecution can also be carried out under the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998, which provides a fine of up to 100,000 ringgit, a 1-year jail term or both upon conviction. The 2 government bodies also issued a stern warning against those who spread unverified news on the spread of the virus. Members of the public have been advised to verify the news spread on the social media platforms by referring to the official website of the Health Ministry or the World Health Organization, WHO. Meanwhile, the latest report from China indicates that they are seeing positive cases in humans without obvious clinical signs. Since the situation is rapidly evolving, it appeared too early to gauge the destructive potential of the new virus. Malaysia have had its experience handling outbreaks like the severe acute respiratory syndrome SARS. But according to Sarawak Chief Minister Dato' Abang Johari Openg, the country needs to be extra vigilant since no vaccine is available against the coronavirus.
We cannot take for granted. Yang kayak macam SARS lah. Tapi untuk yang full vaksin saya ada. Belum ada. Satu, nombor duanya, kalau you suspect nikahnya, readingnya, you cannot detect yang 14 hari. Ya masalahnya. Maybe today you okay, 14 hari you. This is a problem. Macam SARS pakai easy. You check ada. Untuk 14 hari. Yang bertapuk dulu.
Hence, he said security at the Malaysia-Brunei border at Sungai Tujuh Miri in northern Sarawak will be tightened as many tourists from China enter the country through Sabah and Brunei before arriving in Miri. The deadly 2019 novel coronavirus outbreak that has spread across China and abroad will affect Malaysia's tourism industry, with expected losses running into millions of ringgit. This followed reports that the Chinese government had imposed quarantine policies, including temporarily suspending inbound and outbound group tours in the wake of the outbreak. Malaysian Association of Tour and Travel Agents, MATA President Datuk Tan Kok Liang said tourism agencies and tour companies in Malaysia had been notified by their counterparts in China about the temporary suspension. From January to September last year, China was the third biggest source of foreign tourists with 2.41 million arrivals, after Singapore with 7.8 million and Indonesia with 2.7 million. It was learned that a notice had been issued by China's General Office of the Culture and Tourism Ministry over the cancellation of local and overseas tours beginning Tuesday. The action came about at the start of the Lunar New Year holidays, when millions of Chinese travel across the country and abroad. The number of people killed in China by the new coronavirus has risen to 81, with almost 3,000 confirmed ill by Monday, as the country extended the Lunar New Year holiday by 3 days in an effort to contain an infection whose spread accelerated around the globe. According to the National Health Commission, residents of Hubei province, where the disease originated, were also banned from entering Hong Kong. Most of those deaths, 76 people, were in the central province of Hubei, with 5 deaths elsewhere. Following this, Wuhan's mayor Zhu Xianwan offered to step down on Monday amid growing criticism in the city that the local authorities' response to the outbreak was too slow. In the meantime, Director General of the World Health Organization, WHO, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, is in Beijing to discuss the outbreak with the Chinese government and health experts. At least 44 cases have been confirmed abroad, including in Thailand, the United States, and Australia. So far, there have been no deaths outside China. Meanwhile, experts of the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, have successfully isolated the novel coronavirus in the environmental samples of a seafood market in Wuhan, indicating that the virus stems from wild animals on sale at the market. According to the experts, 33 of the 585 environmental samples collected from the Wuhan's Huanan seafood wholesale market were found to contain the nucleic acid of the novel coronavirus. It also added that 31 of the 33 positive samples were collected from the western zone of the market, where booths of wildlife trading concentrated. The result further substantiates that the novel coronavirus outbreak is highly relevant to the trading of the wild animals. Police records 138 road deaths in the first 9 days of Op Selamat. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Police have recorded 138 deaths in 127 road crashes during the first 9 days of Op Selamat, held in conjunction with the Chinese New Year celebration. Bukit Aman Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Director Dato' Azizman Alias said 94 of the fatalities were motorcyclists and pillion riders. He said Selangor recorded the highest number of fatalities at 24, followed by Johor and Sarawak with 16 each and Kedah 13. A total of 14,087 road crashes were recorded nationwide, with 4,089 of them in Selangor, followed by Johor, Kuala Lumpur and Pulau Pinang. A total of 233,454 summonses were issued. Op Selamat will be held until February 1st. In Selangor, a driver seen in a viral video hitting several vehicles as he drove through a residential parking lot in Klang is believed to have been above the legal alcohol limit. South Klang District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Shamsul Amar Ramli said this was based on results of an early breathalyzer test on the 46-year-old man. In the 9:35 p.m. incident on Sunday, a video showed the driver driving hastily through a parking lot, hitting several vehicles before crashing into a lamppost. The early test results showed that he was above the legal limit. He also had an eye injury and is now being treated at Hospital Tengku Ampuan Rahimah. Police said early investigations showed that 12 vehicles, including the drivers, were damaged in the incident. No other injuries were reported. In Johor, a drug trafficking syndicate was crippled when a team from the Region 2 Marine Police Force stormed a hut at a rubber plantation in Bukit Pasir Muar. A total of 1 million ringgit worth of shabu was also seized in the raid.
Pemeriksaan di pondok tersebut telah menjumpai dan merampas barang-barang sebagaimana berikut. 2 karung bunyi mengandungi 2 beg berisi 20 bungkusan plastik untuk sinar, berpita pelekat, setiap satu mengandungi 1 bungkusan plastik bertulis Wan Ying Wang, berisi bahan disyaki dadah jenis syabu. Anggaran berat lebih kurang 1 kilogram, jumlah 20 kilogram, anggaran harga lebih kurang 1 juta.
3 Indonesian men aged between 20 and 56 were remanded until February 8th to facilitate investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. They face a mandatory death sentence if found guilty. In Terengganu, a 2-year-old girl was stabbed to death by her uncle in Felda Churul 1, Kemaman on Monday. According to Kemaman District Police Chief Superintendent Hanyan Ramlan, the girl was identified as Nur Hafiyah Aufa Muhammad Takudin. It is understood that the 26-year-old suspect had tried to attack the victim's sister after stabbing Nur Hafiyah, but he was, however, apprehended by the neighbors before being handed over to the police. Initial investigations revealed that the suspect has a past criminal record relating to drugs back in 2015. In Kelantan, 2 men were killed in a brawl involving 2 groups in front of a petrol station at Batu 13 Jalan Kuala Krai, Gua Musang in Machang. Kelantan CID Chief Assistant Commissioner Wan Khairuddin Wan Idris said the incident, which occurred about 30 minutes past midnight, was believed to be due to a misunderstanding between the both groups. The 2 victims, aged 39 and 40, died while being treated at the Machang Hospital. It was understood that one of the victims was a military personnel from the Batu 11 Army Camp in Tanah Merah. Over in Sabah, a man miraculously survived after he fell from the 5th floor of a shopping mall at Jalan Kuhara in Tawau on Monday. However, he was badly injured after landing on the roof of a Proton Saga in front of the building in the 12:10 p.m. incident. A woman in her 40s who was in the car also sustained minor injuries. Tawau District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Peter Umbuas said the motive behind the incident is still under investigation. Basketball star Kobe Bryant among 9 dead in helicopter crash. We'll be right back. Now on to the foreign front. Weather conditions appear likely to come under the scrutiny of investigators probing the helicopter crash that killed former NBA superstar Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others near Los Angeles on Sunday when overcast skies and fog grounded other aircraft. Bryant and his entourage were reported by local media to have been on their way to a sports academy in the nearby city of Thousand Oaks when their helicopter plunged into a steep hillside in Southern California. Investigators from the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board began arriving in the area on Sunday to launch separate crash investigations. Among the factors expected to be at the forefront of the probe are weather conditions, given that forecasters reported low clouds and limited visibility in the vicinity at the time of the crash, and various eyewitnesses recounted thick fog over the foothills where the helicopter went down. Fog in the area was so bad Sunday morning that both the Los Angeles Police Department and Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department grounded their helicopter fleets, the Los Angeles Times reported, citing officials. Bryant, nicknamed the Black Mamba, shot to fame as an 18-year-old and played for the Los Angeles Lakers for 20 years, winning 5 NBA championships on the way. He is survived by wife Vanessa and his other daughters, Natalia, Bianca, and Capri, who was born in June 2019. Slovenian Prime Minister Marjan Šarec announced his resignation on Monday and urged the country to hold an early general election, as his minority government did not have the influence to push through important legislation. It is understood that Šarec's government coalition of 5 centre-left parties held only 43 out of 90 seats in parliament and lost the informal support of the opposition Left Party in November, finding it ever harder to get bills through parliament. Following this, opposition centre-right Slovenian Democratic Party, SDS, which is the largest party in parliament, is now likely to try to form a new government, and an early election would take place only if that attempt fails. The resignation comes just after Finance Minister Andrei Bertoncelj announced he would quit, and follows internal conflicts within the 5-member coalition. Before we wrap up tonight's Nightline, let's see what has been installed on the front pages of Malaysia's main newspapers on Tuesday, January 28th. 2 main newspapers, the New Straits Times and Berita Harian, highlight the temporary ban on Chinese visitors from Wuhan and Hubei to curb coronavirus spread. While the nation's best-selling Malay newspaper, Harian Metro, discusses viral versus virus, fighting the viral fake news on the spread of the virus. Meanwhile, a report on higher dividend from Tabung Haji taking the front page of the Malaysian Reserve. The Business Daily, quoting an expert, said TH has the ability to give better dividend as a result of its asset surplus that stood at 2.3 billion ringgit last year. Do get your copies. In France this year's Nice Carnival, participants are busy preparing the 17 floats for this year's parade, which features the faces of some of fashion's legendary courtiers and icons past and present. With that, I'm Nakia Basharudin. Thank you for watching and take care.